I never heard of a crocodile crossing an ocean.
Well, they conceal information like that in books.
I do need to warn you, Sheriff. The thing about being rich, my parents would have the added luxury of ditching me off at karate school on a regular basis, so I am a brown belt. Go ahead, take your best shot. Take your best... No! Did he say go? Aren't you supposed to say go in karate? All right. You're supposed to say go.
Hey.
Sadly, that's what many of you think a fight is going to be like. And this is how so many of you think you're going to end your fight with your martial arts. Listen, I'm not trying to insult you guys when I say that most of you, if not all of you, are in a day and generation where you do not know what a true fight is. And there, when you bring the mentality of true fighting, whatever it is to you, into your martial arts training, the problem is your mindset isn't there. Right, I'll give you kind of a parallel analogy. I'm going to show this video today of a prison fight, and I watched a video years ago of Elliot Hulse was talking about. He had a question about people, why the guys in prison so jacked if they don't get access to gear, from the outside. And his concept is they had such a high state of stress. I mean, they're on all the time. Their situational awareness, their alertness. They're not, there's no relaxing, and that he believes that translates into the human body's development for a fight or flight methodology. And for the most part, anybody who's not inside of an environment like that does not know the reality of true fighting. What do we have? We have martial arts, we have wrestling, we have BJJ, we have MMA, we have controlled environments where people are now safe in order to fight. And that translates into people taking their martial art and theorizing everything to death. Well, I would do this, I would do that, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not picking on Thomas Marks, but I think his stuff is garbage. And he's the one from the JKD community who's like, just finger jab. Just finger jab. I didn't grow up in an environment of high stress. I grew up in an environment where fighting was still prevalent. I talked quite oftenly. I was a cop, but that really didn't put me in a high stress because I always had backup, right? So I wasn't in a true fight or flight state. If I was losing a fight, which was never, I could call for backup. Plus, I had tools on my belt that could help me win a fight. Before that, it was the nightclub industry and the 4 a.m. nightclub industry. And that was just, bar fights. And bar fights, there's no true, real danger. Maybe a glass upside the head, maybe a broken bone, but you're still not in an environment where somebody is truly trying to completely hurt, do great bodily harm, or even cause your death. It's just not that high stress. And before that, high school, wrestling, controlled environments, physicality has always been a part of my life. Fighting has been a part of my life. Violence has been a part of my life. But violence for survival, that hasn't been. And it hasn't been with most of the people who are in the YouTube comment section and talk about their fighting prowess. It just doesn't exist. I saw this video and I thought it was a fantastic display of looking at where you think your Wing Chun, and this could apply to any martial art out there, but specifically for our purposes on the Wing Chun channel, where do you think your Wing Chun is going to work? And if you're not looking at videos like this, I'm going to tell you one of the greatest things for self-study is analyzing to death. One of the reasons my Wing Chun is as good as it is because I was obsessed with it. Because I would take notes and I would write and I would theorize and I would be in my journal and I would watch everybody online. And I would, when you start to really watch the other styles, the other arts, the other styles of Wing Chun, the other martial arts out there, and you start to think about your own in an obsessive manner, you really start to feel it internally in your body. So if you're not really breaking down film, if you will, it's like boxers or football players watching film of a competing team or competing athlete. It's the same thing for you. Your mindset has to be in it, but it's something that has to be self-studied. I want to play this video. I want to watch it. Very short video. It's a 22-second video that I saw online of a prison fight. I want to watch this. I want to break this down, and I want to talk about the realities of fighting and where your martial art is going to succeed or fail.
He running, man. 12 out there, man. What y'all doing? Scott, they right here getting beat up. Beat his ass, Cash. Beat that crack ass, Cash. Ooh, dropped him. Ooh, he dropped him. Ooh, man, dropped him. Oh, man, he dropped him. Don't jump him, man.
We need to watch that again, and I want to break this down bit by bit. Number one, to say that you guys are not equipped to this. If you really saw and observed what I did, these men were truly trying to harm one another. I don't think that you have that mentality yet for your martial art. You have to translate it. You have to develop it. The example I give people is that, you know, in law enforcement, I had the lawful authority or in righteous responsibility, if need be, to use my pistol and use deadly force on someone and take their life. Thank God it never happened. Never happened. And I didn't want to, but I knew that in order to do the job, I had to put myself in that frame of mind. So I would think all the time. There were times I'd be in my squad. There were times I'd be at home. There'd be time I'd be driving to work, and I'd be thinking about deadly force. What does it mean for you to pull deadly force on a subject and take their life in order to keep the peace and maintain order in a free society? And it was a heavy thought to think about. I never thought, man, yeah, I want to go and I want to kill someone. I want to shoot someone. I never thought that. But I thought about the scenario and every angle of it. How would that affect me? How would that affect my life? How would that affect the family life of that person? If I have empathy towards this person, sympathy towards this person, am I still willing to do it? How heavy is that trigger pull going to feel? I've had 2 or 3 nightmares when I was a cop that I had to use deadly force, and the trigger felt like it was, 50, 60 pounds for me to pull back, and I couldn't do it. I would purposely put myself in those states of mind to talk about the violence internally, and could I do that? I translate that into my Wing Chun. It's where it is, and that's why when I train, everything has to be surgical for the concept of, what are you doing this art for? What are you doing it for? And I know a lot of us, the cop-out is, well, our art is to kill and maim. And do you know what that really means? Are you aware to do that? Have you ever hated someone to the point that when you grab them and squeeze them and shake them, it's like you see red? Have you ever seen red when you're dealing with somebody? I have, and it's one of the worst feelings in the world. Your motor skills go out the window. Your rationale goes out the window. You see nothing but hatred for another human being, that if the fight goes on, you are going to kill them. It is a horrible, horrible place to be, and you can see these guys have it. So on a emotional side first, I want to talk about there's the emotional, then the physical, the application side of it. Let's look at the emotional side first again of this, and watch this again. It's only 22 seconds. Yeah, you see right here. All right, he went for a throat grab in the beginning. They don't like each other. Throat grab, face push. Grabbing that throat, pushing that face.
He running, man. 12.
I can't tell if it's the case here. I think the white guy is biting the face of the black guy. I literally do think that's what he's doing.
Man, what y'all doing?
Look what he's doing.
Scott, that white guy getting beat up.
He's on top of him, biting his face. Again, you're not ready for this.
Scott, that white guy getting beat up. Beat his ass, Cash. Beat that crack ass, Cash.
Throws a knockout punch, knocks him on his ass. This is telling. Watch what the white guy does after this.
He dropped him. Man, dropped him.
Head blows to the back of the head. You can kill someone doing that. Check out the choke.
Man, he dropped him.
He's trying to twist his fucking head off. He's got his arm braced on one side so the guy can't turn. He is trying to rotate and twist his head off. This is a fight that countless of you who are in the comment section of these videos, you have no clue the human evil side that all of us have when it comes to this, that you should never want to experience. You should never want to, on either end, do it to somebody else or receiving it. This is basic, brutal survival of the fittest, amped up by emotion of hatred, and it is the most vile, evil aspect of us all as human beings. He's trying to twist his fucking head off. Somebody else comes in, back. Look at how far his head is cranked up. He's got this guy's head turned over so far that it's, he's going to go, his chin is going to go past his fucking shoulders. He's trying to break his neck.
Don't jump, man.
Now, that was that. That was pretty violent. That was pretty bad. I want to look at your Wing Chun. Now, remember, I said that Wing Chun is anti-grappling, and I think this is one of the best videos to talk about it that I've seen so far. I didn't say that Wing Chun is grappling. I said it's anti-grappling. You can argue, and I guess that we're going to change the definition or semantics of grappling. I don't consider grappling just being on the ground because you start standing up. I think once Wing Chun gets to the ground, I think it has its problems, and I think that Chi Sao does have some application to anti-grappling on the ground. But for the most part, when it gets to Wing Chun, I believe that the sensitivity, more so the development we get from Chi Sao game, the Chi Sao game, puts us in a position to negate all takedowns. I think that it does. Now, here's the deal. I don't think your sensitivity, this fight is another example of why people like Klaus Brand and myself, we do agree that Wing Chun is a hard art and sensitivity doesn't play the role in it that you think it does. Structure does. You can't be sensitive in an adrenaline dump-based scenario like this and actually think that you're going to win a fight. It goes out the door. There's no go. Hey, aren't we supposed to go? There's no ref. This is fight or flight. Terrified, shit your pants, see red, blackout, somebody gets severely hurt. But watch, let's talk about structure. This is one of my favorite parts. There's your Wing Chun straight punch right there. This is where I look at, and I know it's very difficult to see. You can see that the guy has his left arm, he's holding a broom or a mop, but he's his left arm on the throat. This is Wing Chun in its purest form. In my opinion, you can look at what this is doing two things. Number one, the white guy, we're going to look at the white guy as a Wing Chun guy right now, right? He's not. But what I'm going to talk about, what he does is indicative of what Wing Chun does for anti-grappling. If you look in the beginning, when he comes in, let's take a look at this again. You've got a guy throwing punches. The black guy's throwing punches from the 1 second mark. Watch. Punch, trying to throw punches, can't do it. So how do we negate those punches? Well, couple of different things that this guy did that was Wing Chun principles. Crowding power. He smothers the space and finds an object to back him up on. The one thing that he didn't do right was, he didn't maintain the space. Here's elbow energy, flared it out. If he kept the elbow down, his structure would have been more sound, if you will. And if he's bladed, he should have had his right leg stepped in instead. But for the most part, for this is the ultimate goal of Wing Chun. Especially since we know that there's a day and age where people can punch and punch and punch and punch, and you're not going to knock somebody out in the first 5 seconds. They're going to keep coming. It's an adrenaline dump. If you've never been hit in the face, believe it or not, you can take it. You can take it. Being hit in the face is not a big deal. It's more like apprehensive than anything else. He's got the perfect position of Wing Chun structure coming straight in with an attack, right? I ask everybody the concept of, because people keep thinking that Wing Chun has to be punches. Your pak has to be a strike, or it has to be a strike. Your strike has to be a strike. Your tan has to be a strike, all this. There's no difference. The structures, the tan, the pak, the bong, the jum, the shapes or the structures still exist. Follow me very closely. If I put a bong out for 5 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or for a half of a second, 1, not even 1, the bong still exists. The only difference is the length of time that I extended it out for its existence. That's it. So if we look at this, a palm strike, a throat grab, a punch is still a centerline punch. The concept is simply, I'm just keeping that structure out there. I think that this is one of the most brilliant examples of Wing Chun smothering and a straight line attack. It's just what you do afterwards. Afterwards, that you're gonna have to deal with their attack. So he negated a punch coming in. Watch the white guy. He comes straight in with smothering, and a straight line attack goes right to the throat to negate an oncoming attack from an opponent who's taking swings. I talked about this quite a while ago, many years ago. This is how you avoid a hook punch. You go in and you take the balance and the structure and the power of somebody attacking you. One more time. You're going to see that the black guy's attacking, and in order for the white guy to survive the attack, he comes straight in with a straight attack and smothers and eats the space. There's no power in that punch when you're taking somebody off their balance. Okay, that's one. It's not Wing Chun because he's losing structure here. All this. But now I want you to look at, if you're the Wing Chun. Let's just say you're the white guy and you're the Wing Chun guy. You're doing Wing Chun. Now you're losing the fight, right? You come in with your center line attack. You come in with your straight plunge. Your center, your crowding power, and then you lose your structure, and you got to recover now, right? We talk. Remember my class, my school. We do 5-step drill where you learn how to recover your position from being in a bad fight. Now he's in a bad position. So my question is, all the Wing Chun training you've done, remember I keep saying this is anti-grappling. Anti-grappling. You might be in your class doing your drills and your tan, pak, all this, and you're learning all to take the incoming energy from a strike. But what happens when somebody gets their hands on you? Most of you in Wing Chun are not training for this. You're going to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instead. It still lives in anti-grappling space. Here's where your Wing Chun concepts and structure has to get into play. So again, remember, a straight line punch can be out for 1 second, or you can hold it for 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. The structure never changes. The intent behind the tool that you use is what's important. A screwdriver analogy. I could use a screwdriver to unscrew a screw, or I could use it to stab you. The structure is still the same. The use of the tool is different. I hope that makes sense. So if you watch, this is where facing comes into play. Your Wing Chun facing. You need to turn and face him. And while you're taking a beating, now we look at structure. How do you apply your Wing Chun when you're tied up like this? This is where you need to start feeling. He's up. He's raised up. Sink down. This is where you sink. This is where you start to feel your Wing Chun structures come into play. I believe the greatest Wing Chun structure for anti-grappling is your jump sao. Your jump sao is single-handedly the most important Wing Chun tool or weapon for anti-grappling, because you hook up the line that is projected from your center line, from your wrist going into your opponent, your elbow, your hips, your knees, your spine. The jump sao is the one movement where everything is loaded behind your punch with your elbow power into it, and that's the focus. But the jump sao is the one where you're in this position, you're still going into somebody, and you have two lines, if you will, of intent going into your partner that will keep your structure more founded. In other words, what I mean by that, if you're in this position and you're taking this energy back in, you have to recruit your elbow to prevent yourself from collapsing. We go from punch to Wu Sao, taking energy as somebody's pushing in and is stronger than us. But if you recruit the elbow and jump sao energy and go in to your opponent, you could hold them there all day. Jump sao is one of the most underrated tools that we strike. But for grappling and anti-grappling and pushing and pressure, jump sao is one of the most underutilized, underappreciated, underrated tools or weapons we have in Wing Chun. So we're looking at structure. This is where all of a sudden you guys will lose your structure. You see a lot of times that guys in their Wing Chun MMA stuff, they raise themselves up to meet the opponent. This is where you sink. This is where you start to tie in wrist, elbow, spine, sink down, turn into the opponent, and jump sao your energy into them. He's lifted up. This is what now you can start looking at the black guy, and you can change roles. What if I'm the Wing Chun guy here and I'm in this position? My structure is horrible. I'm dealing with having my face bitten. Somebody's got my head. How do I use my Wing Chun? Strike? No. This is where you go from here to a tan sao, and you start to find anywhere on the body you can experience pleasure. You can also experience pain. Those sensitive parts of your body, the tickle zone, if you will, tickle, pleasure, all that. Dig a fucking knuckle right under the cluster of nerves that are in your armpit. The soft curvature of the jaw. Your girlfriend, your wife is just stroking your face. Take your knuckles, dig them in to your mandible bone. Anywhere on the body, your ribs. You get ticklish by the ribs, take a knuckle, dig it in. One of the easiest ways to prevent a grappler from taking you down is to perfect your grip strength and grab on their body. I'm talking anywhere you can hook. Thumb in the armpit, you grab and you dig your fingers into their shoulders and you try to rip their fucking pec out. You grab the love handles and twist. Grab the side of the neck where you feel cords and squeeze into it. I can't tell you how many people forget about the power of grabbing. We do it in Wing Chun all the time. Tan, Yun, grab, chamber. We have a grab and pull in Wing Chun at the close of every single movement at the first form, but we only apply it towards wrist grabs. Grab on the inside of the bicep where this nerve is. Dig your thumb in, perfect your grip. You can ask anybody who ever grapples me. I cheat. My method for takedowns is not to get a better takedown on you. My method for takedown when it comes to wrestling, because I'm older, my endurance is for shit, is I will frustrate the living shit out of you by grabbing you, thumb underneath your jaw, and I will and I will lift you up to straighten up your structure, even if it's just a half an inch, to frustrate you. I'll dig it in right where your lymph nodes are, all of this to frustrate you, to tire you out, to find my takedown, and then exercise the shot or a counter to your takedown. This is a lost art. Grabbing the areas using your knuckles. Again, you could punch, boom, or you can leave it out and dig. Anywhere on the human body, if you've never taken that Phoenix knuckle and dig into somebody's fucking ribs, do it. I'm telling you, I love right up in here. I'll get underneath your mandible. I will hook. I will try to find your wisdom teeth and rip them the fuck out through your jawline. The power of grabbing is insanely underrated in Wing Chun, but it has to be utilized by structure. So when we lose our structure in a context like this, you have to get it back. If you're in a position, find it. Work on your grip strength. Start to rebuild your structure. Elbow. He's in a great position with that right elbow. Just sink it into his hip bone. Sink it in the hip. Why do we always only think strike in Wing Chun? Push, pull, strike. All of it is existence because when you think about it again, too, I keep saying this all the time, a tan, a pak sao. A pak sao can be a slapping hand, a striking hand, but a pak sao is still in a position to push somebody into a wall, too. Why do we limit Wing Chun? I don't. I fucking never have. To only striking. So you need to start looking. How's your position if you're a Wing Chun guy in this? Right. Got a head? Take his head. He should be digging his face. Turn your head. The top of your forehead. You don't have to just headbutt somebody. You could turn it into his teeth. Come up. Take the back of his head. All wooden dummy. Come in. Pull his face right in this area. The nose and the lip right above the teeth, and you dig the top of your head right in there, and you try to drive their teeth into the back of their head. Wing Chun is violent, and it's all right there. We negate or forget to train the concept of pressure, even though we talk all the time about pressure testing in Wing Chun. No, we don't. We keep forgetting about the importance and the necessity of true pressure in the application of fighting. Yeah, right here. Here's structures off. Both these guys have bad structure. So I start to think, where do I see my Wing Chun in it? He's lifting him up to drive him back. So we know, okay, we've talked about that. You get somebody's balance up and back. I've talked many times that the human body cannot handle two movements at the same time. So he's moving him up and back. And he's trying to hold on to the railing, can't. So this is a good, okay, it's Wing Chun application. I see how that works now. I see where this goes. Comes again. You got the distance. This is where I think Mun Sao, Wu Sao is fantastic. Asking hand, answering hand. He's got boxing jab, measure, power. You got that. Look, there's the structure again. Look at the lack of structure. Here's the elbow out to the side. How does your Wing Chun work? Tan, dig that elbow in. Tan and corkscrew in. Oh, center line punch. Corkscrew in. Boom. Boom, that centerline punch training. This is where you break somebody's fucking arm for your structure. Here's an elbow flared out to the side on the top. Sink, turn in, strike, and drive right in. It's all right there. I keep telling you, Wing Chun has been anti-grappling since the beginning. If you, boom. Knocks him down. Bad blow to the back of the head. This is it. Where's your Wing Chun? This is where 5-step drill is so important. You're in a position of, oh shit, how do I recover from here? This is where turning, facing, all this stuff. This is, okay, how do we deal with this? When you're leveraging on that, shit. Once again, watch this again. And just watch the 22 seconds, no sound, nothing. And start to see if you see different things now. Because instead of thinking about striking, you're thinking about your Wing Chun existing in the space of violence, and violence is formless. It's not a punch. Violence can be a push. Violence can be a grab. Violence can be a bite in the face. It can be anything. Where does your Wing Chun apply? Even if, look at it this way. If I said you have to bite somebody in the face, how do you translate your biting somebody in the face in Wing Chun? Well, you're not going to be up on your toes like this biting. You're going to be biting, gripping, sinking, twisting, and turning it. There's your Wing Chun. Taking the concepts and the principles for Wing Chun, and you match them to the tool that you need at the time. That is Wing Chun. It always has been. That's why it's a complete system. Let's watch this one more time together. Guys really better take some time and start truly looking at your art, looking at your form, and asking yourself, A, am I prepared for violence? B, do I understand violence? C, do I respect violence? And D, can I become violence? And that's a problem. You really have to look at things. I saw this today, and I thought this was one of the best examples, truly, where your Wing Chun can live in true application on a fight. You're not going to stand in front of somebody, Mun Sao Wu Sao, or Thomas Mark's finger jab, or BJJ. You're going to drop to the ground and do so. It's not going to happen, especially with men of violence. And not to mention the fact that most people are not trained. It is what it is. But the ones who don't train are probably the most dangerous, because they're the ones that'll go to any. Well, let's just say you face somebody who's well trained. Well, they can apply the violence, but they know when to stop. They know when to stop, and they know when to just toy around with you. People like this, no, there's no toying around with you. No, this is the psychotic aspect of human beings you don't ever want to deal with, that is going to completely they look to do some serious damage on you, rip your eye out of your socket with their fucking teeth. So again, where does your art apply in this? And if you're a different martial artist, you got to think of it, man, how do I do my spinning back kick for Taekwondo for this? Where's my judo throw? Where is my BJJ? But in Wing Chun, where's your straight blast? It wouldn't have worked here. Your centerline punch. No such fucking thing. Where is your Gansao? In the video I did the other day, the applied Wing Chun. Where is your entry with the high-low Gansao or Kwansao? No. There was no. The first punch that was thrown, as you saw again, watch, was a wide haymaker. And the guy did exactly what we do in Wing Chun. He went right in and he smothered. That's Wing Chun. That's what it is. It's making contact and smothering the shit out of somebody. I think that the anti-grappling in Wing Chun, you saw so many aspects of it as it is finding the spot on the human body where somebody has something they could feel pleasure on. Where if a touch would feel great in that area, it would also feel excruciating. A lot of us have love handles. A lot of you do not appreciate the movement in the third form. Tan, gan, tan. Low strike to love handle, grab, and you rip. You dig your fingers into that fat, and you twist it, and you pull it while you're elbowing them with the other hand. Anti-grappling has always existed in Wing Chun. People do not utilize it simply because of one reason. They're training for a non-fight. They're training for a controlled environment. The more you understand violence, the more that you start to look at it, the more that your Wing Chun will come alive, the more your Wing Chun will be far more aggressive, the more your Wing Chun will become something more than you thought it would be before. So hope that makes sense. Do not forget to join our Patreon, Izzo Wing Chun. We have our Tuesday great training hall, the first Tuesday of every month. There's some other memberships there where you can wind up training in group classes and train one-on-one with me. It's over on Izzo Wing Chun on Patreon. So you can check in the link below and check it out. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video, and be safe.